To me, I'm just sharing with you guys my personal journey, my personal questions, my answers. I need to give acknowledgement to a few rabbis, Rav Victor Miller, Zatzal, Mordechai Nogel, Shol Shlita, Rav Daniel Mechanic Shlita. Most of this is not mine. I put some of it together. The main proof, I've heard other people, I think is mine, but I'm not sure. But it's a Torah's really. Nothing's mine. But it's my personal journey that it is, and your journey. Because over the years, guys have come to me, I've heard guys talking about it, how do you know? Got to do it back and forth, my stuff, built it forth, it became a speech. But you need to know, and I say this every year, the rabbis in Netiv are the best rabbis in the world. We have an Emunah day to bring in special speakers to make it great, but you got to know, don't rely on anybody else. Don't take anything from anybody. I always like to say, the greatest night of Mesorah for us is Pesach night. And what's the highlight? Manishtana. The height of our giving over our tradition to our family is we tell our children to question us. Question how we eat, question how we sit, question everything. Not they tell us a story and tell us to just listen and accept it. They teach us to question. So I'm telling you guys, what you're going to hear today, what you're going to hear from me, do the same thing I did. Question, drive your Rebbeim crazy, but look for the truth. That's what it's all about. Okay, I hope I'm going to be able to give you enough here to think about, to take with you. Here we go. It worked. Okay. So, a little bit of Chazara because it's important. Why do we need to have proof? You're going to hear people get up sometimes. We've had people get here and says, I can't prove anything. Proving. I can give you enough to believe in. I don't think it's true. I think it's a lot more than that. Why can't it just be faith? I believe. It sounds good. So, there's a place called Mefalsim. It's a kibbutz where they grow potatoes and carrots. You may have heard of it recently. Where's this? I don't know if I have sound here or not. We'll find out in a second if we have sound. I'm not sure. Immigrants moved there. Is it supposed to start right away? Oh, the sound is off. That's not good. Oh, there you go. Hold on. It's supposed to be a video with sound. Is it plugged in? Good. Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to tell you what it says. We're going to move on. It's probably better because it's traumatic. Many of you may have heard it. It's basically a phone call from a terrorist in Mefalsim. It's okay. It's actually pretty traumatic. I'll take it Midrash Shamayim. He's calling his parents. And he's boasting. He says, Dad, where am I? You know where I am? I'm in Mefalsim. I just killed 10 Jews. With my hands. He's excited. And his father is praising him. And he's thanking Allah. He grew up in a religious home, and he had faith. He believed. So you'll pardon me if I think we need to have a little more than that. Because there's many, many, many religions. There always have been many religions over the years. And they all think they have the truth. And it can't be. that there's a thing called reward and punishment, a purpose in this life, and it all comes down to, I believe in those things that I happen to be, how lucky I am, I grew up in a home, and they happen to have the truth, just like everybody else who thinks the exact same thing. And if I just have faith and don't ask questions, it can't be. I don't accept it. Okay, so if it's about proof, what are we trying to prove? That's what we asked us first. Define our terms. Oh, there we go. Well, am I out of order? No. Not here either. Oh, it's at the end of the slide. Okay. Oh, there we are.
What's going on over here?
From all the religions, we're trying to prove one thing, and that's what this speech is really all about. Did God give us the Torah? That's it. One sentence. Because if we can prove this, if we can show evidence that the Rabbanu Shalom, a spiritual force, gave the Jewish people the Torah, gave us, when we say Torah, I'm referring to Chamisha Chumshei Torah. Everything else is academic. You need to ask the questions, but everything else is academic. Why? Well, first of all, if we prove that Hashem gave us the Torah, we've proven Hashem exists. So all your scientific questions, and we'll have science later too, all your questions, how can it be, and evolution, and millions of years, if we prove there's a God and He gave us the Torah, we're done. Talk DNA, talk everything. There's many different ways. Again, I'm not coming to exclude so many other things. The world is full of the wonders of Hashem. I want to bring one proof. I think it's a good one because the Torah itself brings it. If He gave us the Torah, all your questions, Zach, let's say, what about Torah Sheba'al Peh? That's also taken care of. Why? Okay, how many people here, raise your hand if you have green tefillin? No? There you go. Right? Why not? Anybody have round tefillin? How about 5 parshias? Where in the Chumash does it say that it has to be the shape that it is, the color that it is? What? Oh, no. Lo sasa, but wait, lo sasa on what? Don't take away, don't add to what? Where does it say?
No, don't add to what the Sanhedrin...
What the Sanhedrin said? I want to know what the Chumash said. I want to know if I prove Chamisha Chumshei Torah, right? I want to be able to know, is there also a Torah Sheba'al Peh? Well, can you understand the Torah Shebiksav without the Torah Sheba'al Peh? All it says is we're phylacteries. Okay, who wants to try and translate that? Right? We don't even have a word for it. We got to make Latin for it. How do you know what it is? Shabbos. Okay. You got to keep, what does it say in the Torah to keep Shabbos? Don't do melacha. Okay, so you're in the desert now. Moshe comes out and he says, everyone, new rule, don't do melacha. What's the consequence if you do melacha? Misa. You get killed, you get stoned. Okay. What's melacha? Well, I think everybody for themselves can decide what that is. Yeah, we don't need definitions. It's okay. Yeah, but if then you're going to go and take me to Bezdin and you're going to kill me because I have a different definition than you. That's right. But so you have to have a clear definition of what it is the melacha is. This is all the mitzvahs, all throughout the Torah. You have to have it. It doesn't make any sense. More, the rabbis, right? Right? You ever had anybody say, I don't have to believe rabbis, I don't trust rabbis. You know why? Because they were wrong by the Holocaust. Yeah, because people went to them and told they gave people a psak not to leave. They were wrong. Pardon me. If you've opened the first page of any Gemara, there's a machlokes there on the first Mishnah. That's one rabbi telling another rabbi, you're wrong, you made a mistake. Every single page of Shas is full of rabbis telling other rabbis they're wrong. So in case anybody has any question about it, let's get something very straight. Rabbis can be wrong. And yet the Torah says you have to listen to them or become one yourself, says the Chayei Adam. Don't rely on me if you're able to do it yourself. But you need the rabbis for the Messiah. That's it. God knows the future. He puts it in the hands of the rabbis. That's Chumash. If God gave us Chamisha Chumshei Torah, good. You have a question about some rabbis? Good. It's a question you need to ask. We're not talking about blind, but God knows the future. He put it in the rabbi's hands. He put it with Torah Sheba'al Peh. That's it. We're done. Ask the questions. But we know it's true. We're trying to prove here that Judaism is true. If we prove God gave us Chamisha Chumshei Torah B'Har Sinai, we've proved that point. We have many other questions. Great, we do. We got to deal with them. Okay? Questions of what happened in the world. The Holocaust. You need to ask the question. But if God gave us the Torah, it's not a question on whether or not Judaism is true. What happens in our lives? Why do bad things happen to good people? Pursue the question. Think about it. But it has nothing to do with whether or not Judaism is true if we have evidence that we got the Torah from Har Sinai. Okay. Prophecy is true. All throughout the Torah, things are predicted. Reward and punishment is real. Okay. So, what are the options to consider here? We're only going to consider here two options. And here they are. Option number one, Torah was written by people. Chas v'shalom, I'll say chas v'shalom once here. Option number two, it's God's words. That's it. It's either a scam and the writers are evil. There's no in between here. Because the writers are presenting themselves as God. They're saying all these things happen and this is the way to get to eternity. This is what you should be doing with your family. If it's not, it's one big evil lie. If it was written by men over years, I don't care. Option two is that it's God. God means He's omnipotent, He's omniscient, who can tell the difference? Who can spell those words? He knows the future, omniscient, second one, sorry, and He's all-powerful. But maybe He's not. Yeah, maybe He's not, but in the Torah He says that He is. So if we're going to consider a third option, where's my water here? Sorry. If we're going to consider a third option here, sorry, I'm in the middle of a drink from before. If we're going to consider a third option that God, yeah, He did it, but He's not all-powerful and He doesn't know the future and He's not good, then He's also a liar. Because that's how He presents Himself in the Torah. So it's possible, but we're not going to consider that. You want to go and live your life that there's an all-powerful God who created you, created all of us, gave us a Torah, gave us a purpose in life, yet He's an evil liar? Okay, I'm not. But for our purposes, we're going to consider, once we get above it, wasn't written by man and men, which is what the world is saying. We have God, and we have how God presents Himself in the Torah. And then you'll have a lot of questions. Great. Run after those questions. Very, very important. Okay. So now that we have the two options, what's our standard of proof? A little Chazari here again. We need to know, as Rav Gav said, and again, I don't have the video, so it doesn't matter. We'll skip this one. We need something to know, a standard that we consider for things important in our lives, things that more than just, which professor, is there sound? Yeah. More than just what job I should take, more than just who I should go out with, him. Yeah. We're going to pick a standard that we kill people with. Right? Truth beyond a reasonable doubt. I think that's high enough. Yeah. I have enough of him. Okay. On we go. Oldest Sefer Torah. Let's go. We need some facts here. We got to get some prerequisites down here so we know what we're talking about. Who can tell me about the oldest actual full copy of Chamisha Chumshei Torah as we have it? It's going to be very, very important. Anyone? Oh, yeah, there we go. You're wrong. No, yeah? This is actually a new, the oldest one we actually had before. There was an actual Sefer Torah. There's one in Italy, in Bologna, Italy. Actual Sefer Torah, 800 years old, give or take. This is, not only is this the Torah, this actually has all Tanakh with it. It's just sold for a tremendous amount of money. And there's a lot of references in here to other ones. There's other ones that are around the same time who bought and sold it at the time. So we have a complete Chamisha Chumshei Torah, like ours, 1,100 years ago. Okay, but we can go farther back. You've heard of Septuagint, yeah? Septuagint? No. Okay. What does Septuagint mean? Latin? 70 scholars. We have 72. That's what the word 70, they sat, okay, you guys know it from the Gemara. Come on, yeah. Instead of history, right? Tirgim, Shivim Ushtayim, right? The Greeks forced a translation of the Torah into Greek. Now, the original Septuagint, you need to know, you hear a lot about this when you hear from quote-unquote Bible scholars about the Septuagint. Septuagint was only on Chamisha Chumshei Torah to start with. We're talking only, we have it translated now. Why is this so important? So when I was a kid, if you would go to any motel or hotel in America, especially in the South, right? In the drawer there would be a King James Bible, right? Once this is translated into Greek, that puts the context, all the stories, every word here is now in the hands of a bunch of people that don't like us very much. So if somebody wants to go and change something, add a line, take out a few words, change the content, they'd have to go into every library and church in the world and do it. Once it's translated, and these people don't like us, once it's split up among different groups that hate each other, there's no way that I can go and make a change in one group and you won't notice it in the other. And the truth is, we can go a little bit farther back. There's a group that broke away, and we see the Shomronim, Samaritans they're called. Don't mix them up with the Karaites, they're similar, both reject Torah Shebaal Peh. We're going to focus on the Shomronim. Their text, there are thousands of, almost all grammar, but minor differences between their Chumash and our Chumash. Now, why isn't there a major difference between their Navi and our Navi? Because they don't have Navi. All they have is a garbled version of Yehoshua, Sefer Yehoshua. Victor Miller Zatzal hypothesized from that if you want to know where the religion that these Shomronim, by the way, they still exist nowadays. There's about 800 of them on a Har Gerizim. Har Gerizim. Where is that in Israel? That's the way where Yeshua came into Eretz Israel. They change actually the line in the Torah. They added in by the Ten Commandments a line that says you have to, the place to serve God and bring sacrifices is Har Gerizim. Right? So we can see there's differences. But the vast majority, when we're talking everything else besides the thing that they changed and some grammar things, is exactly what we have. And they break away based on the fact that they reject all the other Nevi'im, they reject all the rabbis. They took only Yeshua because they're around then, or the religion that it's based off is around then, which means when did they break away? Times of Yeshua, give or take, which puts us with a complete Chamisha Chumshei Torah within 100 years of us coming into Eretz Israel. That's not bad. You don't want to go with that? Go with Septuagint. Either way, we have a complete Chamisha Chumshei Torah thousands of years old. Good, we've established that? Okay. Moving on. Let's understand how we're going to prove it. Let's give some examples of how to do it. Okay, this is not the proof, by the way, that I'm going to be bringing, but I want you to understand how the evidence is being done. I actually know a lawyer years and years ago in Cleveland. He started to become religious because of this one. There's so many things when you wake up, you open your eyes. Okay, what's it say? If I have the right one first here. 3 times a year, what do we do? Ola Regel. Okay. And we're going to get rid of all the goyim. When we inherit from the goyim, mipanecha, they're going to go away from your land. We're going to expand your gvul, okay? And you're going to come to Yerushalayim. And what do you do about the goyim that we pushed away? I'm going to go, everybody. The border guards, everybody's going to go. My wife, she has got a couple little babies, there's some animals there, kids. I'm leaving them over. I'm leaving my farm there 3 times a year. And I'm traveling to Yerushalayim. What do you think is going to happen October 7th? Yeah. They're going to attack. Says the Pasuk. In every Torah, in every Christian Bible, Samaritans, what's going to happen? Don't worry. No one's going to want it. Don't worry. Well, what's going to happen the first year they're in Eretz Yisrael after the guy gives us these rules? Remember, option 1 is it was written by man. That means he has no power to make sure this comes true. He can't enforce this. He writes in the Torah that everybody comes and no one's going to want your land. The first year is going to come. We're going to come to Sukkot. We're all going to go and they're going to be attacked. We're going to come home. There's going to be nothing left. And they're going to kill the guy who told them the Torah was true. Is it reasonable that a human being who wants people to keep the Torah would write this in the Torah? Another one. Did it work? No. Oh, there we go. Someone's going to say in the 7th year, we have Shemitah. I don't know what's going to be. I'm scared. I'm not going to have food. So what does the Torah promise him? No problem. I'm going to give you the tefuah for shalosh shanim. Triple crop in the 6th year. What's going to happen the first time that happens? Remember, if it's written by men, he cannot produce this. This is why all other religions, you'll see, they only talk about next world. Because call them on it. Good luck. Right? The Torah talks about this world. All over. Throughout. These are a couple of examples. Is it Uri Zohar? Uri Zohar was a top Zichrono Livrocha. He died a couple years ago, right? He used to come speak here. He was like the Robin Williams. People still know who Robin Williams is, right? I'm not that old. Yeah. He was the Robin in Israel. He was a comedian, speed talker. He was a movie producer, movie actor. He was everything. He had a talk show. He once went to a bris. He was invited by a Baal Tshuva. A friend of his became a Baal Tshuva, so he went just to have fun. He wasn't religious at all. And he started debating the rabbi there for fun. And while he was throwing back a lot of one-liners, he knew that he was getting beaten up. And the whole time he was asking questions, the rabbi was answering everything. He was shocked the rabbi knew anything. And then the rabbi asked him one thing and said, Torah Misinai is provable. You know that the Torah is true, is provable. And he was shocked. He had never heard such a thing before. It started him on a journey. He went to meet the rabbi. He sat with the rabbi. He says, I can't find where the hole is. He went into a kollel. He said, you know what? He went to the Rosh Kollel. He says, listen, I know this is a fraud. I know the whole Torah is a fraud. I'm going to prove that it's a fraud. But I can't do it just from the side. I see that all the superficial stuff, it's not working. It's because I'm not taking it seriously. So I'm coming into your kollel. I'm going to pretend like it's true. I'm going to find where the holes are. And when I do, everyone's going to know. I got a talk show, most popular show in Israel. Everyone's going to know. And the Rosh Kollel looked at him and says, when you find out where the fraud is, tell me. I'm out the door behind you. I'm only here because it's true. So Uri Zohar started. He starts reading Chumash. Gets to the first page. Okay, let there be light. Okay, God creates light. Darkness, great. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. Create the sun. What? Go back a few pages. The light, darkness was the first day. Now we know, Chazal tell us, Rashi, or Haganus. We're talking about something great. We're talking about a spiritual light. Would a human being have written that? On the first page, God creates light, darkness, but he doesn't make the sun until day 4. So the Torah is full of these. These are the types of proof. This is not the proof I'd like to bring. But you should know the Torah is full of this. Okay, fine. Now let's define our terms here. Good. Okay, I ran out of koach. I was up a few nights this week, so from now on, I don't think there's too many pictures left. Okay, what is Judaism? We talk, what does it mean to be a Jew? We don't know who we are. There was a time, there was a tradition, we knew what it meant. But I want to show you what it means, define what it is historically. Just when we're talking as a people, what it means to be a Jew. In order to do that, we're going to start with some other religions to define them first. What's Christianity? What's the story of Christianity? So the story of Christianity starts this way. It's very simple. There are a bunch of people in the world who discovered God and started following God. And God promised them they would have a great nation. And that nation went down to Egypt, and they had miracles, prophesied miracles, and God saved them from within another nation. This is the story of Christianity, by the way. I'm just going to get it straight. All right? This is what every Christian believes. It's all in the first part of the Old Testament. And then they got the Torah at Har Sinai. God chose them as a chosen people. And he promised them all over within the Torah, I'm never going to forsake you as a people. You're always going to be my people. Over 150 times, all throughout Tanakh, I'm never going to forsake you. Oh, and then what happened? Oh, and by the way, if anybody ever says that I changed my mind, kill him. It's Chumash. Okay, I want you to imagine, this is what they say. Okay, Rav Hanan makes a big speech. He gets up, big announcement. He's got Rav Bina there sitting next to him. We're going to get straight here. New rules in yeshiva. You got it? Anybody comes late to Shacharis for the rest of the year, their life is over. They're not getting a shidduch. They're out of yeshiva. Forget it. It's over. Okay, you got it? Oh, rule number 2 is make sure at the end of your meal, throw your plate away. Derech Eretz, come on. Okay? Oh, what's the punishment for that? Okay, well, we'll give you a little schmooze. Slap on the wrist. You got it? Oh, and by the way, these 2 rules. Late for davening, your life is over. Don't throw away your plate, slap on the wrist. I'm never going to change the rules. Anybody says I did, they're out of the yeshiva too. You got it? Okay, assembly over. Rav Bina goes back into his office with Rav Hanan. Rav Hanan turns to him and says, let's switch it around. We'll switch one around. Let's switch it around. Let's make it that somebody's late to Shacharis, slap on the wrist. They don't throw away their plate, his life is over. But you just said you wouldn't do that. I know. But let's do it anyway. So maybe we should make an assembly, bring everybody back together and tell them. No. We'll just tell one guy, he'll tell everybody else. That's Christianity. That's Christianity. We're going to go up to Shemayim, and they're going to say, eternal hell and damnation. That's how they talk. I'm going to say, why? What did I do? I mean, I know, okay, I know Lashon Hara, I did some things, Why? Because you didn't accept Jesus. Who? Jesus. I changed my mind, and I threw away the Jewish people. It's now the Christians. You said you would never do that. I know, we did it anyway. That's the evil of Christianity. That's what they actually believe. So the story goes on. God changes his mind. Oh, so you ask a Christian, how do you know your religion's right? Well, there was a person, my father, back, his father, who you get to? Pick your choice. We can do Jesus if you want, who says, well, he actually never says he was God, but okay, let's say he said he was God. And how many people saw that he was born without a father? How many witnesses to the fact that he's a miracle birth, or at least according to Catholicism? I said that right? Yeah? How many witnesses? Oh, by the way, they have a genealogy there, 2 different ones, of his father, so that he can be Messiah, because he has to be from David HaMelech. But it's not his father. Question. Mystery, as they say. You have to have faith, even though it doesn't make sense. Okay. Any witnesses there? But when he came back, he died. And then he came back. Okay. And who saw that? Witnesses? Yeah. There's a bunch of his followers. A dozen of his followers. They all have different versions of how it happened, but there was a bunch of his followers saw him come back. And then he died again. Okay. And a bunch of swooning women. Yeah. Okay. So we have, according to their contradicting books, we have a few witnesses to a miraculous event of what? Jesus coming back, sort of different versions, a few people. Okay, not bad, a few witnesses. How do you know they passed it on? It has in the book. How do you know it's, oh, because my father told me. Okay, fine. We don't have anything direct, but it's not bad, a few witnesses. All based on the fact that our entire nation got the Torah. How many people in our nation then, by the way? 600 of the men, right? Adult males. Adding your children, adding your old people, adding you at least 2 million, 2.5 million people. That's our story. National revelation. A lot of people talk about witnesses. Forget the witnesses. National, a whole nation. Okay, let's do. I want to add one thing in here. You guys familiar with Lawrence Kellerman? Ever heard of him? Permission to Believe, Permission to Perceive. A lot of books on Emunah. So he has a great speech. We used to bring him in here for this speech years and years ago, where he goes on, and it's a whole, if you go to simpletoremember.com, you can hear it. It's actually quite good. And he explains, why is it that Christianity and every other religion in the world, why do they only start with a few people? Why do we get millions? Every other religion starts with a few people. And he explains that you can't get, if you want to get a group of people to believe something happened to them, it's impossible if it didn't happen. You can't do it. Just psychologically, you can get somebody to believe, if I tell you, trust me, yeah, I was there with a bunch of apostles and some swooning women, we were there. Can you trust me that it happens? Trust me that I'm the Son of God. Good, I get you to believe that. But if it happened to you, that you saw it, I can't get that. A couple years ago, I tried. It's so bad that you can't get people to do it. I came here, I told over a story about how in the beginning of the year, the chief rabbi of the army came to yeshiva in Elul. You guys remember it? And he told us to do exercises. He told us about how important it is to be part of the army. It never happened. Lo hoy v'lo nivra. I have the whole, everyone sitting there looking at you like, what? What do you think, we're nuts? People were insulted that he even tried to tell them something happened to them that didn't happen to them. It was an awkward moment. Like, what is he doing? You can't, nobody's willing to, and that's why no other religion, let's go with Islam. Watch this. What's the story of Islam? You ready? The story of Islam is, the Jewish people were saved from Egypt. It's in the Quran. Don't look at me. And got the Torah at Har Sinai. And we made the Jews. This is more than half the world's population, by the way. You think there's some small group of Jews in the world that believe Judaism is true. More than half the world believes it. All of Christianity, all of Islam. Basic. As a matter of fact, in the Quran, if you look it up, they actually have it. They say Muhammad was a Shabbos goy. He has things a little messed up. He was a Shabbos goy when he was a kid. He has Haman in Mitzrayim with Paro. He's a little mixed up. But he overheard stuff. He actually has there, we know Chazal tell us that by Har Sinai, we were Tachti Sahar. Hashem put Har Sinai, the mountain on top of us, says, if you accept the Torah, great. If not, Sham Teik V'Raschem. That's where you're going to die. He has that the Jewish people got the Torah, the mountain was on top of them. That's the Quran. They all believe it happened. And then God changed his mind and Christianity took over. And then God made Muhammad the prophet. Oh, how do we know he made him prophet? Oh, he went to a cave one night. He had a dream, different versions, and he met Gabriel. He got the Quran, and the Baruch, a magical horse, took him up to heaven or to Jerusalem, got the Quran, got the secret of life, and now it's all Islam is the main religion. But it's all, any witnesses? Anybody saw him? Maybe he just, he had a bad day. Maybe he's a little nuts, he had a little melancholy. He got a dream. So what? No witnesses to anything. Oh, so how does this spread? Same way Christianity did. You put a sword by somebody's neck and say, accept this religion, and say, okay. That's it. Very convincing argument. So the biggest religions, more than half the world, believes we've got the Torah Sinai. God promises he's never going to forsake us completely as a nation. He's always going to take us back. Yet God changes his mind, doesn't tell us. No witnesses to any of those events. Okay. So what's Judaism? Judaism is a national experience. Our bubbies and zadis. How many mitzvahs are based on Yetzias Mitzrayim? How many mitzvahs were, according to the Torah, given to us to commemorate the event right after the event happens? Carbon Pesach, all the mitzvahs that go with it. Tefillin, Bechor, so many things. Mezuzah is a reminder of the blood on the doorpost. When we accepted Ol Malchus Shemayim. Matan Torah. Shavuos is Chag Matan Torah Seinu. So we're commemorating since then a national experience of millions of people. That is what we're saying happened to Jews. There's thousands of religions out there, all over history. I haven't brought the proof yet, guys, though. It's all just set up. There's plenty of things here that got you to think. There's lots of things here that you maybe didn't realize, put it all together. Yeah, oh wow, I didn't know that. Okay. All the religions start with one or two people having at most two, experience, or Christianity, somebody saying, oh, me and the apostles, although we all saw it differently. A few people and some swooning women, because swooning women are, of course, very, very reliable. Right? And trust me that it happened. Yeah, he came back. That's all the religions. Why couldn't they do what we did? Say 1,000 people, 2,000. You think it'd give it a little more. How did this guy do it? This author of the Torah, how did he pull it off? All the other religions in the world, the two biggest, have to piggyback on us. So remember, two choices, God or man. The guy who did it, how did he do it? On the side that it's man, it's a lie, right? Say chas v'shalom one time, chas v'shalom that man did it, but okay. Let's say man did it, let's think it through. Okay, he's got to get, the only one of the thousands of religions that ever will be, he's got to get a nation of at least 600,000 males to believe that something happened to them. What happened to them? Well, not a small thing. Not a moment of, oh, we saw somebody come back. Yetzias Mitzrayim, a year's worth of prophesied miracles. God speaking directly to us, not in the form of men. It's very important. From fire. The Torah stresses it over and over. Hearing God directly speak to us by Har Sinai. National experience. Over a year. All the Makkahs. Kriyas Yamsuf. And we have to get to all that did it really happen, and we have to convince a group of people that how did he do it? Happened to them, happened to his ancestors. All the other religions couldn't do it. And somehow he did it. How did he do it? The answer is, I don't care. It doesn't matter how he did it. Let's say he used shrooms. Shrooms, yeah? Hallucinogenics, right? Technology, I don't know, he found a way. He found a way to mass hypnotize a group of people that no one else figured out, but he found a way to get a group of people believe that these big, big events that are being passed on every day, that you always have to remind yourself of every day, mitzvah, Yetzias Mitzrayim, every day. And you have to go to these people and say, you know, these things all happened to you, but it didn't really happen to you. But no, it did, you forgot it, but it says you'll never forget. Okay, but it really happened to you. Yeah, believe it happened to you, yeah. Everyone believe, and everyone believes it happened to them or to their ancestors. Oh, and here are a whole bunch of mitzvahs you got to do. All these things cost a lot of money too. Things you got to do, believe. All based because it happened, but did it? No, it happened, and now they all believe it all happened. Okay, he found the way. He knows it's a secret. He found the way. Smart guy, no? He found the secret. He knows it can be done. You can get a group of people to believe a lie. First guy to do it. How many years ago? What are we talking? 3,000 years ago. Good? Great. Now we're ready. One thing we know about this guy. This guy knows the secret of getting a group of people to believe a lie. Would you think it's reasonable that this fellow who wrote the Torah would place the credibility of the entire religion on a prediction that no one else in all of time and in all of history and any place else in the world is ever going to claim that God spoke to the entire nation? No one else is ever going to claim that miracles happened and that God saved their nation from within another nation. Now remember, this guy knows it can be done. He's the one guy in the world that knows that you can get a group of people to believe a lie. Is it credible that he would make a prediction that no one in all of history, in all of time, 4,000 religions, is ever going to do what he just did, that he knows can be done? He doesn't need to do that. He has everybody there. There's no reason to make these promises. There's no point in it. Is that reasonable that he would do that? I don't think so. Because tomorrow someone's going to do what he just did, get a group of people, it could be 2,000 people, some Navajo nation, and get to say, yeah, God spoke to them from a fire, and he found a way to do it. And then the religion's gone. He wouldn't do that. So, here we go. No, where is it? Oh, right here. Pass these around, please. Be nice, we talk about if God can give you a personal message today. I think he did. This is Dvarim Perek Daled. Take a look at it. Hebrew, English, I don't care. Take a second. Pay attention to it. Pass it around. Remember, this is thousands of years ago. We've established that in the hands of the Christians, every sect of Christianity, by the Samaritans. Thousands of years ago, the author of the Torah, Dvarim Perek Daled, tells us. Everyone's good? Take it. At the end of days, you're going to sin. You're going to be kicked out of Israel. You're going to be spread out across the world. At the end of time. And you're searching for the truth. Says the Torah. Ubikashtim misham. It's Kisoli Barim. We're talking about the end of time. You're going to be spread out, Pasach of Zion, among the Goyim. You're going to serve them. And then you're going to look for God. Achris hayomim. And you're going to say, God, take me back. And you're going to say, I want the truth. So God says, I'll give you a way to have strength. I'll give it to you in English here. I'm going to give you 2 questions to ask that it will give you strength if you're looking for the truth, to come back. 2 questions. Ask yourself, look around, ask your parents, your grandparents, search the entire globe in all of history at the end of time. Has there ever been another nation that claims that God saved them with prophesied miracles from within another nation, meaning there's another nation witnessing it too, another level of impossibility to get somebody else to believe? And another nation that claims that God spoke to them, not in the form of man, it's very clear, and lived to tell about it. Now, just by itself, it's amazing. Because if you go through all the other religions, you'll have stories, there are stories where God spoke to a group, and then they all died. And how do I know it? One guy told us. No, they have to live. The whole nation has to live to be able to pass it on, tell the story over. And it has to be not in the form of man. Thousands of years ago, the writer of the Torah predicts that we will be the only nation claiming these things. Isn't it amazing, first of all, that no other religion, the 2 greatest religions, can only go, they believe that actually they are based on mass revelation, on historical mass, well, ours. But for themselves, they couldn't do it. No other nation. And yet the writer of the Torah predicts this. Why would he do that? Is it reasonable, the one guy that knows how to get a group of people, that it can be done, to believe a lie? Is it reasonable for us to think that he would put in the Torah a prediction that no one else is going to do what he just did? And just for the record, back in the day, never took off, but I made a website. Back when there was a concept, now it's all AI. Back then it was, what was it called? What? No, before funding. It was when the wisdom of the crowd. It was where you put out, they still have it now for crimes and things, where you basically put out a question and people go and they search. So I made a website based on this, offered a little money. All you got to do is tell me which religion you are. I fought with AI on it to see if there's anything also. Anybody know of any religion in all of history that makes these claims? Claims that they have any national, just a claim, doesn't have to actually happen. But the religion makes that claim, that's their start. Zero. Go ahead and look yourself. Zero. So there's only one question left for everybody here. If you look carefully there, in the message from the Rebbeinu Shalom to you, it says there, at the end of days, if you're looking for the truth, if you want strength, Ata haresa ladat, you need to know, knowledge, not just belief. So the question here for everybody here is, are you honestly looking for the truth? Anybody want to ask questions? I know it's been 2 hours to do the second speech. Yeah, it's like, no. Yeah?
I didn't really get your shmot, like, that one, the one before the Shemitah.
The one of Olaregel. Yeah, basically 3 times a year, everybody's going to go. Every male, adult male, has to go to Jerusalem. You're there for weeks. And you leave behind unprotected family, farms, all your property. And the Pasuk says, don't worry, they won't, all the goyim that you displaced, they're not going to desire your land. They're not going to attack you. Not going to even want it during when you're gone. When you're there in between, oh, they might attack you. Sure, you need guards. So you're studs. But regel? Don't worry, they're not going to attack. They're not going to even want to attack. You're safe. Imagine 3 times a year we'd say all the border guards, everybody in the army, leave your post for a few weeks and don't worry, and we'll leave the wife and kids there, no problem. A human being wouldn't have written that. Yeah? So you're going to have a question. It's not as true nowadays as it used to be. If it's so clear and it's so true, first of all, we said in the beginning, right? What's going to be if I know it's true? So then, I'm not going to have free will. Now, you trust me, you all can know it's true and have plenty of free will. Find something to question, to go your own way. But if it's so true, so why doesn't everybody have it? It happens to be the technology nowadays. We're getting to a point where there's almost no what's called a tinik shenishba. Anybody who wants to find the truth now, Corona, min hashamayim, it's unbelievable. You have people that are connected within the religious Jews, within the rabbis, who were forced because of Corona, the last holding out, they were forced to use the internet. I just heard the other, the Eida Charedis, right? During Corona, they're using it in kashrus, they're using it in the fields by Shemitah. What you need to use it for, you use it for. The amount of Torah that's out there, if somebody wants to really find the truth, is like never before. You could get smicha, VHP program, right? Ravami. You could do it all online now. If you want to find it, you want to become a bucky, an expert in anything in Torah, it's available, you want to find the truth, there's so much out there now that never was. It's available for anybody. And now you have October 7th, Simchas Torah, and the whole world, a bunch of Jews that are questioning all their values. Saying, whoa, did I have it right? And it's all available. But still, you're not going to look here. Why aren't we all religious? It's so simple. Who here bought a 1,000-piece puzzle? Anybody? Yeah? You also, you don't have a PlayStation? I'm sorry? No? Or you keep Shabbos? All right? Okay, you're not machmir that you might glue it after. Okay, fine. 1,000-piece puzzle? Good. How do you do it? You make the edges on the outside, right? Then you do the tree. What happens if you're in the middle of doing the tree and you're missing a piece? How long do you look in the box for it? Right? You're missing one piece. Right? You're going to look, and you're going to look, and you're going to look, unless you have my grandson, Dovi. That's not my grandson. It's a random kid from the internet. I would not... Ayin hara. Anyway, but if you have Dovi, you won't look that hard. You know why? Because he may have eaten it or flushed it down the toilet. I'll do better. You go to the toy store, and they have a shelf full of 1,000-piece puzzles, and they tell you, hey, we have a whole bunch on sale. Why? They're missing a few pieces. It's mostly there. Now, when you're making your puzzle from the discount puzzles, how long do you look in the box? You're missing the piece. You don't spend any time because you don't think it's there. But if you open the fresh box, and it's a good box, you know, you're going to keep looking till you find it. It's as simple as that. If you don't think the truth is there, you're not going to look for it. If you think it's there, and now you have a little basis for it to be there, okay, now look. Look for the Rebbeinu Shalom, look for truth, ask the questions, drive all the rabbis, me included, crazy. Come, visit me in my office on this or any other of these topics. We'll have a good time. This is what it's all about. You want a question? Yes? Go ahead. Yeah.
How is it possible that God gave us the Torah at Har Sinai, and then in the Torah it's written stuff after Har Sinai?
Right, so when we say God gave the Torah by Har Sinai, we need to understand what's going on there. You look in Rashi there. When we say Torah by Har Sinai, at least we'll go big machlokim how it works. The Sefer Bris is Bereshis, all the stories up till Yisro, right, up to then. Then we're given the Ten Commandments, which are hinted to or are the paradigms, representative examples of all the other mitzvahs that we commit to. And then for the next year, we learn all their details. By Har Sinai, we have all of the mitzvahs. Then, the rest of it, whether we get it all together as one form and split up later, because it'd be pretty weird that we have all those stories and the Moshe didn't know what was going to happen and he makes mistakes. But we have all of it at the end of Har Sinai, at the end of 40 years before we come into Eretz Yisrael. That's how it ends the last psukim in Chumash. And that Chamisha Chumash Torah goes with us wherever we go afterwards. But it is, and if you want to be technical, Dvarim is actually the word of Moshe Rabbeinu that Hashem says, yes, this is all my knowledge, but Moshe actually is giving the speech to everybody. But Hashem says, yeah, I accept it, make it part of the Torah at the end of the 40 years, yes. But no, all those stories that happen afterwards would be pretty sad that we knew what happened and we still blew it. Good? We didn't know what? We have to say the stories that occurred later. For the next 39 years, we do not have until after they occur. Yes, that is correct. But all the mitzvahs and the... What?
So we didn't get the whole Torah.
We did not get... At Har Sinai, when we're talking about Chamisha Chumshei Torah, no, we did not. We got all the mitzvahs, either hinted to on a deeper level, you go with Safsad Yagoin, that he puts every mitzvah under each one, but we know, the Ramban tells when we leave after the year, we left Ketina Kabarech Beis Sefer, we're afraid we're going to get more mitzvahs. The giving of the mitzvahs is completely done then, but no, there are stories later, but the writers, what?
So why do we say we got the Torah? Why is it so common for everyone to say we got the
Because if you look at Rashi in the first, very good, in the beginning of Chumash,
we got all the mitzvahs then?
because that's what we mean when we say Torah, not the stories. The stories, again, it gets incorporated into Chamisha Chumshei Torah, because anybody who reads it can see that we weren't given those stories before they happened. Again, there is a pshat that we got it, and all the words were jumbled together, and then he split it up, if you would like to go with that. But Pashtus, no. Over the next 39 years, we get it, And then it's given to us after the last story is done, and then ends, the last few psukim is Yehoshua after Moshe dies. So no, why do people say, you say Chag Matan Torah Seinu? When we say Torah, remember that Rashi says that really, you should have started Torah Chodesh Elachem, the first mitzvah given to Klal Yisrael. Not with Bereshis. And there's a big machlokes Rishonim why that is. Because when we say Torah, we're talking about the mitzvahs, yet we learn a lot of things from everything else, like we're learning today. But when we say the mitzvahs were given to us by Hashem, and all the stories exactly Hashem's word within that time, that's what we're discussing. Yeah?
Can you go back to the earlier in the slide, there was a picture of the Greek text?
I'm not sure I can, but I can try.
Who wrote the part after?
Moshe does until the last few psukim.
Moshe wrote it?
Yes, that's what it says. That's what it says. It's God's word. It's a chazor of the mitzvahs mostly. But technically speaking, the whole Torah is written by God. By Moshe Rabbeinu, I'm sorry. Even the first part, God didn't take a pen and write it. The first luchos are actually written by God. The second luchos are by Moshe. Moshe writes it, but it's God's words. He's the author of it. Good? What do you want? Which picture?
The one right after. Yeah, that.
Meaning a human being would never have put this. What's he doing? Septuagint. Now you're going to tell me here that these letters are not Greek.
But that's text right there.
Yeah, no, I just found it on the internet. I don't know if it's actually a Septuagint.
That's 2,000 years ago. That was written.
What?
That book right there is written 2,000 years ago. That exact text.
Oh, yeah?
I'm asking you.
You reckon? I think so. I looked up the Septuagint. I Googled it.
Maybe in such good shape.
Oh, no. They have, first of all, they have it in museums, the original ones. But they all have it when it's spread out. That's like given history of the church. The Septuagint is yeah. You have a problem because I'm already 18. Oh, my goodness. Bottom line is the Christians have, their Bible is a old English translation of an Old English translation of a Latin translation of the Greek translation of the Septuagint that was never meant to be literal in the first place. Eye for eye. They have a problem. We have a Torah Shabbat Peh. Good? Anybody more questions afterwards? Or